Hello, good afternoon. So the title of our presentation is, Can Your Choice of Interventional System Impact Your Procedure Time? And we would not be having this presentation if we didn't already have a fantastic answer for you with our new Azorean system. So what started us on this journey of creating a new IGT platform? Well, it was really the changing dynamics of healthcare. Hospitals more than ever are challenged with delivering cost-efficient care delivery. There's growing competition among hospitals, not just for patients, but growing competition for talent as well, physicians and clinical staff. Increasing demand for complex procedures. As people use image-guided therapy more and more, they're using it for more and more parts of the body, and these can become very complex procedures. There's also consolidation among healthcare facilities themselves, a concentration of people who are making buying decisions for the hospital. And also an increase in metric-driven outcomes. You can't open a newspaper today without seeing some sort of article or a pie chart around healthcare statistics. So more important than ever. So in February of this year, we launched Azorean, a new IGT platform that was designed to do three things. It was designed for ease of use. It was designed for clearly superior care, but also lab performance. So how can an IGT platform really impact the performance of your lab? We conducted a study to answer that exact question. The study was conducted to demonstrate the extent that the system and the new user face and advanced workflow could really impact procedure time within the hospital. The hospital that we studied first was St. Antonius Hospital in Nieuwegein, Netherlands. The study took around 2 years. We studied 775 procedures with 12 X-ray techs and 6 physicians. The study was primarily looking at patient in to patient out of the lab. We time-stamped 10 steps during that process, everything from the patient walking into the lab, the physician walking into the lab, the start of the procedure, all the way to the patient recovery in the lab and ending the procedure and the patient leaving the lab. We did it before the installation of Azorean, then after the installation of Azorean, and measured the difference before and after to determine exactly the impact that Azorean had on that hospital's workflow. And these are the amazing results that we got with the installation of Azorean at this hospital. A 12% reduction in patient prep time, a 28% reduction in post-procedure in-lab recovery time, a 29% reduction in staff movement, 25% of cases normally requiring overtime, but finishing on or before schedule. Overall, a 17% reduction in procedure time. That is huge in an interventional lab, huge. All of these statistics together meant that this hospital could treat 1 more patient a day. 1 more patient a day. Philips is working hard to treat a patient every half second in the world. This takes us a long, long way towards that goal. We collected data for a long period of time for this particular study. Collecting data was important to us over a long period of time because we wanted to make sure that the results were statistically significant. The sort of worldwide standard for statistical significance is a 95% confidence that the results that you got were entirely based on what you were studying. So statistically speaking, a 95% confidence equates to a p-value of 0.05. So you want a p-value of 0.05 or lower. Our study was far exceeding that threshold. Our p-values, as you can see, for patient prep, procedure time, and post-procedure time were less than 0.01, meaning we had a 99% confidence that the results of the study were entirely the result of the installation and use of features of Azorean. That's huge. But you don't have to just take our word for it. We gave our raw data to NAMSA, a globally recognized clinical study and biostatistical analytics firm, who confirmed the exact same results. This is what it looks like. In-lab patient time per procedure before Azorean, and then a 12% reduction of patient prep time, a 17% reduction in procedure time, and a 28% reduction in in-lab patient recovery time. We talked about a 29% decrease in staff movement as well. How did we calculate what that was? So in the ceiling of this hospital, inside the lab, and in some of the surrounding areas, we tracked people's movements. We tagged each person with a tag in the upper left-hand corner of being administrative, of being a physician, of being a tech, or being a nurse. And we recorded their movements. You can see the movements in the lower left-hand corner. The thicker the pattern, the more movement back and forth between that area. Wasted movement, really. So with the installation of Azorean, and because tableside control exists with the new system, much, much less staff movement between exam room and control room. So this is important not just from a workflow standpoint, but from the standpoint of a sterility break. The less movement you have outside of the lab means less breaks in sterility. So a huge plus with Azorean. So how did the features of Azorean contribute to those amazing results? 12% reduction in patient prep time through the use of procedure cards, standardized cards that help set up the patient for a specific procedure. Instant parallel working, meaning you can be finishing the last case and starting work on the patient prep for your next case, even while the physician is still working. 17% reduction in procedure time. How did that happen? Well, through the intuitive user interface. The FlexVision Pro screen that allowed better communication than ever among staff people. Touchscreen Module Pro helped keep patients and physicians and clinical workers closer together. FlexSpot, seamless connection of applications. The 29% reduction in in-lab post-procedure time, instant parallel working again. The ability to complete one patient while starting on the next one. 29% reduction in staff movement, resulting in a 25% reduction in planned cases finishing early. Nearly every hospital I've ever been in, they have this conversation with themselves around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Do I put another patient on the table and risk staff overtime again and again and again? Or do I call it a day? So the features of Azorean that help speed up the waste in the procedure time helped answer that question and reduced overtime by 25%. Ease of use of the system also meant easier access to other supporting software tools. So we saw a 44% increase in supporting software tools as well. That's huge. Marco van Strijden, interventional radiologist at Nieuwegein, said we were able to change our workflow in such a way that we were able to treat more patients per day, more patients per week, more patients per year. But the most important ingredient in that, while the decrease in procedure time is important and great, no compromise to patient safety or quality, because we would never want to speed up a procedure simply to speed it up. We want to help eliminate the waste in the procedure, but have no compromise to patient safety or quality. So why should you or your hospital really care about efficiency? You might be thinking to yourself, we don't have a wait list. We don't really have an issue with sending our staff home timely. That may be true today. But interventional procedures are really growing in both mature markets and emerging markets. The highest growth in these types of procedures is in the more complex procedures that take longer to perform. So while you may not see or feel an efficiency issue today, you are guaranteed to feel it tomorrow. It's very difficult to acquire more square footage in your hospital space. So you need to use the space that you have in order to accommodate the increasing demand in procedures. And we believe the best way you can do that is with Azorean. What does the ability to treat one more patient per day look like? Even without impacting patient changeover time, simply decreasing the length of each procedure will allow you to treat one more patient per day. That is a huge amount of additional revenue to a hospital. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for just one lab. Wout Adema, the CFO of Nieuwegein, said this really helped us make tangible, significant impact to our operational workflow, but really was interested especially in the positive impact it had on staff and patient satisfaction. This is an individual who, like many C-suite within the hospital, think a lot about patient satisfaction scores. If a patient is spending less time in patient prep, less time and less anxiety in the procedure, and less time in recovery, they're much more likely to be a happier patient. Also as important in this particular hospital is this study helped them to start on a continuous improvement journey in their own interventional labs, something that they continue to carry forward this day. If we can have this type of impact with the system, what more can we do in our interventional space for the comfort and safety and quality of our patients and a reduction of some of the waste that we see every day? So what are the key takeaways of our study? The growth in complex procedures means efficiency is more important than ever before. We conducted a study with our new Azorean platform to determine the extent to which it can lead to a more efficient operation inside our labs. An independent third party verified the results of our study. And the study results showed statistically significant improvements in major KPIs within the lab, meaning that Azorean provided this hospital the ability to see one extra patient per day. Huge.